Imagine this. You and your spouse are on a journey together, navigating life's twists and turns. Your marriage is the vehicle, and your marriage is the vehicle, and your financial goals are the destination. But here's the kicker. If you're not both sitting in the driver's seat with your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road, that vehicle is bound to veer off course. I've seen it time and time and time again. Couples who love each other deeply but end up struggling, not because they don't care about each other, but because they're not on the same page financially.
Money fights, money problems, they're the #1 cause of divorce in America. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter how much love is in your relationship. If you're constantly at odds about money, it's like putting a ticking time bomb right in the middle of your marriage.
But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. You see, when couples learn to communicate and work together on their finances, something incredible happens. They start to feel more connected, more united. It's no longer about his money or her money. It's our money. And that shift in perspective can transform not only your bank account, but your entire relationship. When you're in sync financially, you're not just partners in love. Your teammates, well, you're not just partners in love. Your teammates working toward a common goal. And that kind of unity creates a bond that's tough to break. Now, I'll be the first to admit, talking about money isn't exactly romantic. It's not the kind of conversation that comes naturally for most couples. But let me tell you something. The best marriages, the ones that last a lifetime, are built on hard work, intentionality, and trust. And trust me, financial trust is one of the most powerful forms of trust there is. It means being honest about where you're at, where you've been, and where you want to go. It means being vulnerable, admitting your mistakes, and forgiving your mistakes, and forgiving your spouse for theirs. It means sitting down together as equals and making a plan that works for both of you.
I know what some of you might be thinking.
Dave, that sounds great, but you don't know my situation. My spouse and I are just too different. We'll never see eye to eye on money. And to that, I say, nonsense.
I've coached thousands of couples over the years, and trust me, I've seen it all. Spendthrifts married to savers, dreamers married to planners, folks who came into the marriage with mountains of debt or completely different financial upbringing.
But here's the thing. No matter how different you and your spouse are, you can find common ground. You can learn to work together. And when you do, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, you're not fighting over money. You're fighting for your marriage. You're fighting for your future. So let's start today. Let's commit to breaking down those financial walls that might be standing between you and your spouse. Because the truth is, marriage isn't a 50-50 partnership. It's 100-100.
Both of you have to show up, give it your all, and invest in each other.
And trust me, when you do that with your finances, you'll start to see positive changes in every other area of your life. You'll feel more peace, less stress, and a deeper connection to the person you love most in this world. Isn't that what marriage is all about? Building a life together, one step at a time, with your eyes fixed on the future and your hearts aligned. So buckle up, my friends. This journey is just getting started, and the best is yet to come. Let's start with something fundamental, something so crucial that if you skip this step, everything else will feel like pushing a boulder uphill. Understanding your spouse's financial mindset. This isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about understanding the emotional relationship each of you has with money. Because let's be real, folks. We all bring baggage into our marriages. Some of us grew up in homes where money was tight, where every dollar was stretched and saving was a necessity. Others might have grown up in more comfortable circumstances where money was spent freely and financial worries rarely entered the conversation. Some of us saw our parents fight over money constantly, while others saw it as just another tool for building a happy life. These experiences shape how we view money, how we handle it, and ultimately how we approach it in our relationships. Now, here's the kicker. If you and your spouse haven't talked about where you're coming from financially, you're probably making assumptions about each other. And let me tell you, assumptions are the enemy of a healthy marriage. Maybe you assume your spouse is careless with money because they like to spend on things you wouldn't. Or maybe they think you're stingy because you're always insisting on saving. But here's the truth. Neither of you is wrong. You're just different. And those differences, when understood and respected, can actually make you stronger as a couple. So how do you start? Simple. Have the conversation. Sit down together in a relaxed setting, free of distractions, and ask each other some deep, open-ended questions. What did money mean to you growing up? What's your biggest financial fear? What's your most important financial goal? And here's the key. Listen. Don't interrupt, don't judge, don't try to fix anything right away. Just listen and try to understand where your spouse is coming from. Because when you understand each other's financial past, you can start to build a financial future together that honors both of your perspective.
And let's be honest, this conversation might not be easy. For some of you, talking about money might bring up feelings of shame, guilt, or fear. Maybe you've made some financial mistakes in the past that you're not proud of.
Maybe you've been avoiding this conversation because you're afraid of how your spouse will react. But let me tell you something. Vulnerability is the foundation of trust. When you open up about your financial struggles, you're not showing weakness. You're showing courage.
And when your spouse sees that courage, it creates a safe space for them to open up too. That's when real connection happens. That's when you stop being two individuals with separate financial lives and start being a team with a shared financial vision. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Dave, we're already on the same page financially. We don't need to have this conversation. And hey, that's great. But even if you think you're in sync, it never hurts to check in with each other.
People change, circumstances change, and what worked for you 5 years ago might not work today. So make it a habit to revisit this conversation regularly. It doesn't have to be a formal sit down every time. Maybe it's a quick chat over coffee or a deeper discussion during a weekend getaway. The point is to keep those lines of communication open and to keep learning about each other.
Because here's the thing, folks. Understanding your spouse's financial mindset isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process, a journey of discovery that deepens your connection and strengthens your partnership. And when you commit to that journey, you're not just building a solid financial foundation. You're building a stronger, more resilient marriage. So start today. Have the conversation. Listen. Learn and grow together, because the more you understand each other, the more united you'll be in every aspect of your life. And that's a beautiful thing. Now that you've laid the groundwork by understanding each other's financial mindset, it's time to take the next step, setting shared financial goals. And let me tell you, this is where the magic happens, because a marriage without shared goals is like a ship without a compass. It's just drifting with no clear direction. But when you and your spouse come together and decide where you're going financially, you create a powerful sense of unity and purpose. You're no longer just two people managing money separately. You're a team working side by side toward a common vision. And trust me, that kind of alignment will not only transform your finances, it'll transform your relationship. So where do you start? First, I want you to dream together. That's right. Dream. Sit down with your spouse and talk about what you want your life to look like 5, 10, or even 20 years from now. Don't limit yourselves. Let your imaginations run wild. Do you want to buy a house in a quiet neighborhood where your kids can play in the backyard? Do you want to travel the world exploring new cultures and creating unforgettable memories? Maybe you dream of becoming completely debt-free, or building a business together, or giving generously to causes you're passionate about. Whatever it is, write it down. And here's the key. Make sure both of your voices are heard. This isn't about one person dictating the goals while the other just nods along. This is about creating a vision that reflects both of your dreams, hopes, and values. Once you've laid out your dreams, it's time to turn them into concrete, actionable goals.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things get exciting, because setting goals is what gives your dreams structure and direction.
Start by breaking them down into 3 categories: short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Short-term goals might include building a $1,000 emergency fund, paying off a small credit card balance, or sticking to a monthly budget. Mid-term goals could be saving for a down payment on a house, paying off your student loans, or setting aside money for a family vacation. And long-term goals, that's where you think big, saving for retirement, paying off your mortgage, or building generational wealth for your children and grandchildren.
Now, here's the critical part. Every goal you set needs to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, we want to save more money, we want to save $10,000 for a down payment on a house within the next 2 years.
Instead of saying, we want to get out of debt, say, we want to pay off our $15,000 in credit card debt within 18 months by putting $1,000 toward it every month. See the difference?
When your goals are clear and specific, they become real. They're no longer vague ideas floating around in your head. They're tangible targets you can work toward together.
But here's something you need to keep in mind. Life happens. You might set a goal today and then face an unexpected challenge tomorrow, a medical bill, a car repair, or even a job loss. And that's okay. The key is to stay flexible and adaptable. If you hit a bump in the road, don't throw in the towel. Sit down with your spouse, reassess your goals, and make the necessary adjustments. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. What matters is that you're both committed to moving forward, no matter what obstacles come your way.
Now, let me tell you why shared goals are so powerful. When you and your spouse are working toward the same objectives, it creates a sense of accountability. You're not just responsible for your own financial behavior. You're accountable to each other.
That means you're more likely to stay disciplined, stick to your budget, and make wise financial decisions. And here's the beautiful part. Every time you achieve a goal, no matter how small, it's a win for both of you. It's something to celebrate, something that strengthens your bond and reminds you why you're doing this in the first place. And let me tell you, those victories add up. The first time you pay off a credit card or hit a savings milestone, you'll feel a rush of pride and accomplishment. But as you keep going, those small wins will turn into big ones. One day you'll look back and realize how far you've come, how those dreams you once thought were out of reach have become your reality. And that, my friends, is one of the most rewarding experiences you can have as a couple. So start today. Take the time to dream, set your goals, and map out a plan to achieve them. And remember, this isn't just about building wealth. It's about building a life together.
A life where you're not held back by financial stress or uncertainty, but empowered by a shared vision and a deep sense of partnership. Because when you and your spouse are united in your goals, there's no limit to what you can achieve. And that, my friends, is the kind of marriage that stands the test of time. Now that you've set your shared financial goals, it's time to roll up your sleeves and tackle one of the most important tools in your financial journey, the budget.
Let me be crystal clear. If you want to win with money, you must have a budget. I know. For some of you, just hearing the word budget might make your skin crawl. Maybe you think it's restrictive, like a financial straitjacket that's going to suck all the fun out of your life. But let me tell you something. A budget isn't about limiting your freedom. It's about giving you freedom. It's not about saying no to everything you love. It's about saying yes to what really matters. A budget is simply a plan for your money. And when you and your spouse create that plan together, it becomes a roadmap to the life you both want to build.
Here's the truth. Every dollar you earn has a job. And if you don't give it a job, it's going to wander off and get lost. That's why a budget is so crucial. That's why a budget is so crucial. It helps you take control of your money rather than letting your money control you. When you're living on a budget, you're telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And trust me, that's a game changer. Because let's face it, folks, most people don't have a money problem. They have a management problem.
They're making plenty of money, but because they're not intentional with it, it slips through their fingers like sand. And before they know it, they're living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt and wondering why they can't seem to get ahead. But not you, not anymore. You're going to create a budget that works for you and your spouse, a budget that reflects your shared goals, values, and priorities. And here's how you do it. First, sit down together at the beginning of every month and lay out all your income and expenses. I'm talking about every single dollar. Start with your income. How much money is coming in this month? Then list out all your expenses, from the big ones like your mortgage or rent down to the little ones like your morning coffee or streaming subscriptions. And don't forget to include your savings and debt payments. Those are just as important as your regular bills.
Now, here's the fun part. Give every dollar a name.
This is called a zero-based budget, and it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use. With a zero-based budget, your income minus your expenses should equal zero.
That doesn't mean you're spending every penny you make. It means you're assigning every penny to a specific purpose, whether it's paying bills, saving for the future, or tackling debt.
And when you do this together as a team, something amazing happens. You start to feel in control. You start to feel empowered. You're no longer reacting to your money. You're directing it. But here's the thing. Building a budget isn't a one and done deal. Life is unpredictable, and your budget will need to change and adapt as you go. Maybe you have an unexpected car repair or your grocery bill is higher than usual. That's okay. The key is to stay flexible and communicate with your spouse. If something needs to change, adjust the budget together. Remember, the budget is a tool to serve you. It's not set in stone. And listen, I know budgeting can be tough at first. It might take a few months to get the hang of it, and that's okay. The important thing is that you stick with it. Over time, you'll start to see the benefits. You'll have less stress, fewer arguments, and more peace of mind. You'll feel the freedom of knowing exactly where your money is going and the satisfaction of watching your financial goals become a reality. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than a couple working together with a clear plan for their future. So, here's my challenge to you. Commit to building a budget this month. Sit down with your spouse, grab a cup of coffee, and start planning. Be honest, be patient, and most importantly, be a team. Because when you work together on your budget, you're not just managing your money. You're building trust, unity, and a stronger marriage. And that, my friends, is worth every penny. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest barriers to financial peace in marriage: debt. Debt is a thief. It steals your peace of mind, your freedom, and your ability to fully enjoy the life you're working so hard to build.
It doesn't care about your dreams, your goals, or your family's future. It just sits there quietly draining your resources and your energy month after month, year after year. And let me tell you, debt is not just a numbers problem. It's a relationship problem. When you're drowning in debt, it's like carrying a heavy backpack up a steep hill. And if you and your spouse aren't working together, that hill feels impossible to climb.
But here's the good news. You don't have to stay in debt forever. You and your spouse have the power to break free. And when you decide together to take control and attack your debt with everything you've got, something incredible happens. You start to feel lighter. You start to feel hope. You start to see that there's a way out and that freedom is within your reach. But make no mistake, this journey requires grit, determination, and willingness to make some sacrifices. It's not easy, but it's worth it. The first step in tackling debt is to face it head on. That means sitting down with your spouse and making a list of every single debt you have: credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical bills, personal loans, everything.
Write down the name of the creditor, the total balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment for each one. This can be a tough moment. especially if the numbers are bigger than you expected.
But let me tell you, there's power in facing the truth. You can't fix what you're not willing to confront. And remember, you're not in this alone. You've got each other, and together you can conquer this mountain. Once you've listed all your debts, it's time to choose your strategy. I recommend the debt snowball method, and here's why. It's not just about math. It's about momentum with the debt snowball. You start by attacking your smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate. You throw every extra dollar you can find at that debt while continuing to make minimum payments on the others. And when that first debt is gone, you take the money you were paying on it and roll it into the next smallest debt. One by one, you knock them out, building momentum and confidence with each victory. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Dave, shouldn't we focus on the debt with the highest interest rate? Isn't that the smart thing to do? And mathematically, you're right. But personal finance is 80 behavior and only 20 head knowledge. The debt snowball works because it gives you quick wins, and those wins keep you motivated. When you see that first debt disappear, you start to believe that freedom is possible, and that belief fuels your determination to keep going.
As you work through your debt snowball, you'll need to make some sacrifices. This might mean cutting back on dining out, skipping the annual vacation, or selling that car with the hefty monthly payment. It might mean picking up extra hours at work or starting a side hustle to bring in more income. These sacrifices aren't forever. They're temporary trade-offs that bring you closer to your goal of financial freedom.
And let me tell you, every sacrifice is worth it when you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But here's the most important thing. Stay united. Tackling debt can be stressful, and there will be moments when you're tempted to point fingers or place blame. Resist that urge. Remember, you're on the same team. Instead of blaming each other for past mistakes, focus on the future you're building together. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and encourage each other to stay the course. When one of you feels discouraged, the other can step in with words of support and reminders of why you're doing this. And don't forget to celebrate those victories along the way. Every time you pay off a debt, take a moment to acknowledge what you've accomplished. Have a date night, pop a bottle of sparkling cider, or just take a quiet moment together to reflect on how far you've come. These celebrations are more than just a pat on the back. They're fuel for the journey ahead. Let me tell you something. The day you make that final debt payment will be one of the most liberating moments of your life. It's a day you'll never forget. Suddenly, all those monthly payments that were dragging you down are gone, and you can finally breathe. You can start to build real wealth, save for your future, and give generously without the weight of debt holding you back. And best of all, you've done it together. You've strengthened your marriage, built trust, and proven to each other that you can overcome any challenge life throws your way. So don't wait. Start today. Take that first step toward financial freedom and commit to tackling your debt together as a team.
Because when you're united in your mission, there's no mountain too high, no challenge too great. Freedom is possible, and it's closer than you think. And trust me, my friends, it's a journey worth taking.
If there's one thing I've learned after decades of counseling couples, it's this.
The strength of your financial plan depends entirely on the strength of your communication.
You can have the best budget, the most ambitious goals, and the most airtight strategy for tackling debt. But if you're not consistently talking with your spouse about money, it's like building a house on sand.
The foundation just won't hold. Communication is the glue that keeps everything together, and without it, even the most well-intentioned plans will start to fall apart. But here's the beautiful part. When you and your spouse learn to communicate openly and honestly about money, you're not just building financial stability. You're building a deeper, more connected relationship. Now, let's be real. Talking about money isn't always easy. For many couples, it's one of the most sensitive and emotionally charged topics. Maybe one of you grew up in a family where money was never discussed and now it feels uncomfortable to bring it up. Or maybe you've had financial disagreements in the past that turned into full-blown arguments, and now you're hesitant to go down that road again. But let me tell you something, avoiding these conversations doesn't solve the problem. It only makes it worse. The key is to create a safe space where both of you feel heard, respected, and valued. And that starts with setting aside time regularly to talk about your finances.
Here's what I recommend. Schedule a monthly money date. That's right, a date. Grab a cup of coffee, sit down at the kitchen table, or head to your favorite cafe. Whatever makes you feel relaxed and comfortable. This isn't about spreadsheets and calculators. It's about connection. Use this time to review your budget, track your progress toward your goals, and discuss any upcoming expenses. But don't stop there. Talk about how you're feeling. Are you excited about the progress you've made? Stressed about an unexpected bill? Proud of a financial milestone you've reached? This is your chance to check in with each other, both practically and emotionally. And let me tell you, these conversations can be a game changer. When you make a habit of discussing your finances regularly, you take the mystery and the tension out of the equation. There's no more wondering what's going on with our money, or why is my spouse spending so much on this or that? Instead, you're both on the same page, working from the same playbook. And when that happens, you start to experience a sense of peace and unity that goes far beyond your bank account. But here's the thing. Communication isn't just about talking, it's also about listening. And I mean really listening. When your spouse shares their thoughts, concerns, or ideas, don't interrupt, don't judge, and don't interrupt, don't judge, and don't immediately jump in with solutions. Just listen with an open heart and an open mind. Because sometimes what your spouse needs most isn't a fix. They just need to feel understood. And when you take the time to truly hear each other, you build a foundation of trust that will carry you through even the toughest financial challenges. Now let's talk about what to do when you don't see eye to eye. Because let's be honest, no matter how strong your relationship is, there will be times when you disagree about money. Maybe one of you wants to splurge on a new gadget while the other would rather put that money towards savings. Or maybe you have different ideas about how to prioritize your goals. When these moments arise, and they will, remember that your goal isn't to win the argument. This isn't about proving who's right or wrong. It's about finding a solution that works for both of you. One of the best ways to handle financial disagreements is to focus on your shared goals. When you're tempted to dig in your heels, take a step back and ask yourselves, what's more important, the short-term disagreement or the long-term future we're building together? By keeping your eyes on the bigger picture, you can navigate even the toughest conversations with grace and perspective. And remember, compromise is a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows that you're willing to put your relationship first, even when it means letting go of your own preferences. And here's one more thing. Don't forget to celebrate your victories, both big and small. Every time you stick to your budget, pay off a debt, or reach a savings milestone, take a moment to acknowledge your hard work and dedication. These celebrations don't have to be elaborate. A simple high five or a special dinner at home can go a long way. The point is to recognize and appreciate each other's contribution. Because let's face it, managing money as a team is no small feat, and every step forward is worth celebrating. At the end of the day, financial communication isn't just about the numbers. It's about strengthening your connection as a couple. It's about building a partnership based on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. And when you make communication a priority, you create a relationship where both of you feel supported, valued, and empowered. So start today. Have that conversation schedule, that money date, and commit to staying connected on your financial journey, because when you and your spouse are truly united, there's nothing you can't achieve together.
As we wrap up this journey toward financial harmony, let's take a moment to reflect on the bigger picture. You see, Managing money as a couple isn't just about budgets, debt payoff strategies, or even building wealth, although all of those things are incredibly important.
No, the real power of financial unity lies in what it does for your marriage. When you and your spouse commit to working together on your finances, you're not just improving your bank account, you're strengthening the very foundation of your relationship. You're creating a partnership that's built on trust, transparency, and a shared sense of purpose. And that, my friends, is priceless.
Let's talk about trust for a moment because it's the bedrock of any successful marriage.
Trust is what allows you to be vulnerable, to share your fears, dreams, and even your mistakes without fear of judgment or rejection. And let me tell you, there's nothing that builds trust faster than being open and honest about your finances. When you sit down together to review your budget, discuss your goals, or tackle your debt, you're saying to your spouse, I trust you enough to share this part of my life with you. I value your input, and I want us to succeed together. And when that trust is reciprocated, it creates a bond that's stronger than any financial setback or challenge you might face.
But trust isn't the only thing that grows when you work together on your finances. You also develop a deeper sense of teamwork and unity. Life is full of ups and downs, and having a partner who's truly in your corner makes all the difference.
When you're aligned financially, you're not just two individuals trying to manage money. You're a team with a shared vision. You're pulling in the same direction, supporting each other through the tough times and celebrating each other's successes.
And let me tell you, that kind of partnership is a game changer. It gives you the confidence to face whatever life throws your way, knowing that you're not in it alone.
Now, let's not forget about the sense of peace that comes from financial unity. I've seen it time and time again. Couples who once argued constantly about money suddenly find themselves experiencing a level of calm and contentment they never thought possible.
That's the power of having a plan, of knowing that you're in control of your finances rather than the other way around. When you're working together toward a common goal, you're no longer worrying about how you're going to pay the bills or whether you'll have enough saved for the future. Instead, you're focused on the things that truly matter. Building a life you love, creating memories with your family, and making a positive impact in the world.
And let's talk about generosity, because financial unity allows you to give in ways you never could before. When you're debt-free and living on a budget, you're able to give generously without hesitation. You can support your favorite charities, help a friend in need, or contribute to your community.
And let me tell you, there's no greater joy than being able to give freely and make a difference in someone else's life.
Generosity is one of the most fulfilling aspects of financial freedom, and it's a gift you can share with your spouse and your family.
So where do you go from here? You've laid the foundation, built the framework, and now it's time to live out the principles you've learned, continue to communicate, dream, and plan together. Stay committed to your goals and don't be afraid to make adjustments along the way. Life will throw you curveballs, but as long as you stay united, you'll be able to navigate them with confidence and grace.
And remember, this journey isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about the growth, connection, and strength you gain along the way. At the end of the day, financial unity is about more than just money. It's about building a life together, rooted in love, trust, and a shared commitment to each other's well-being. It's about creating a legacy that will impact not only your own lives, but the lives of your children, your community, and generations to come. And that, my friends, is the true measure of success. So keep going, keep striving, keep building, because when you and your spouse are united in your financial journey, there's no limit to what you can achieve together. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one important thought. You don't have to navigate your financial journey alone. Every couple faces challenges, whether it's dealing with debt, struggling to stick to a budget, or figuring out how to save for the future.
And that's okay. The important thing is that you're taking steps to improve, to grow, and to build a stronger financial foundation for your family. And we're here to help you every step of the way.
Now, here's what I want you to do. Think about the biggest financial challenge you're facing right now. Is it an overwhelming amount of debt? Disagreement with your spouse about money? Or maybe you're just feeling stuck and don't know where to start. Whatever it is, I want you to share it in the comments below. Be honest, be real, and don't hold back. Your story could be the inspiration for our next video, where we'll dive deep into practical solutions and strategies to help you overcome those obstacles and take control of your finances. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're building a community of people just like you. People who are ready to take charge of their money, break free from financial stress, and create a life of peace and abundance. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll get access to tools, tips, and encouragement to help you on your journey. Remember, you're not alone. We're in this together, and there's nothing more powerful than a community of people committed to making positive changes in their lives. So share your challenges, subscribe to the channel, and let's keep moving forward, one step at a time. Together, we'll tackle whatever comes our way and build a future we can all be proud of. See you in the next video.